In this lesson, we'll build out a spoiler for the back end of our car. All right, so our car is kind of coming together. But if we take a look at our image plane here, we can see we've got a little spoiler that comes off right off of this back piece. And basically we want it to kind of gradually come up kind of around the side and slope up off of this back piece kind of down here. So we want to keep this edge right here, but we want the spoiler to, if we look at our top view here, it kind of comes up off of there. And take a look at our back view. Let me turn off our geometry here. And so this is the spoiler right here. It just comes off just a little bit off the surface there and comes straight across and kind of blends back into the back end here. So you go ahead and build that out. So we're going to concentrate. Let me turn my cameras off real quick. We're going to concentrate on this piece right here. So we need to figure out, first of all, where exactly we want that to come off of our piece. So I'm going to just start selecting some faces here. And basically we want to just make sure that it comes off far enough down to where we're going to get this edge down here. Alright, so it looks like we might want to go actually all the way down there. Okay. Now if we look at this, if we go ahead and select these edges and extrude off of that, we're not going to get any separation here between our spoiler and this top piece. It's going to come straight off of it. Okay, so we need to move an edge back somewhere back here. Okay, so we can get a little bit of separation for that spoiler to come out. Still have this defined edge. Okay, so as we're selecting faces, we notice that. So let's go ahead and insert an edge loop, and we'll just do it right about there. Okay, and now we can go in and pick our faces. These faces right along here. Make sure those are the ones we want. And then let's just go up over the top and just continue selecting faces. And basically I just want these top faces along this row here. And this is the sort of base that we're going to be extruding up this spoiler from. And I'll just move over to the other side and go ahead and select the rest of these faces. These are a little bit closer together than others. And just match up your selection. Looks like we're 3 up from there. So right up there is where we want to go. And then just finish out our selection on all these faces, and then we should be good to go. Alright, so I've got all these faces selected. If you want to, you can go actually in wireframe and just make sure that you don't have something selected that you don't want. And now we are going to just extrude up for the base of our spoiler. Okay, just going to do an extrude, and I'm going to come straight up like that, and then I'm just going to move it over just a little bit, and I want to rotate it down. Okay, so we want this to be gradual along this side, so I'm going to help that along by just rotating that down a bit. And pushing that down just slightly, just so that it's the less work we have to do in smoothing that out. Okay, move it in. Alright, so now we might want to actually, let's go ahead and scale that in just a little bit, just because we were getting, as we were moving this and smoothing this out, we were getting this angle back here that we didn't necessarily want. So now we have our faces nice and flat back here. And now if we want to go ahead, I'm going to just grab these guys and the corresponding points over on this side, and I'm just going to move those back just a little bit. just to kind of help smooth things out so that kind of blends in a little bit better. Okay, and let's just do the same thing with these guys right here, and I'll just move those back. Alright, so we've got a base now for our spoiler. So now we can go ahead and instead of extruding those top faces, I'm going to grab these new faces that we created all along here. Let's go on and select these faces that are just pointing to the back here. And we'll just be pulling those out all the way down to our last face right over there. And I'm just going to check and make sure. Looks like I've got everything I need selected there. Alright, so now I'm just going to extrude that straight out. Okay. I'm going to pull that straight out. And I just wanted to extend maybe just a little bit beyond our piece there. And I want to move it just up just a little bit. Okay. It's nothing extreme, just a little detail that we're adding here. Okay. Now at this point, now that I've got my extrusions completed, if I want to make things maybe a little bit easier, I can just get rid of that guy and work on this side a little bit. So now we can concentrate on adding some smoothing things out a little bit over here. I'm going to bring this guy in a little bit so that we just get kind of a nice curve transition over here. Alright, bring this up a little along the U. And then if we leave it like this and we smooth this out, we're going to get a really soft surface. So we do need to go in and add a little bit of resolution here. A line there and a line there. And now we just need to come in here and smooth these things out just a little bit. Now we could go in here manually and move these points around, but I'm just going to do this real quickly using the sculpt tool. Okay. And I'm just going to use the smooth. I'm going to bump my brush down just a little bit. And I'm just going to touch on these back parts just a little bit. You don't want to be too aggressive with this because you might get some unexpected results. I'm just, with the smooth settings, I'm just touching on this and smoothing this out just a little bit. So we basically want it to be a nice smooth back here and then a transition up here to our spoiler. Okay, now let's take a look at this and see how our progress is coming. Alright, so that looks pretty good. We might need to smooth this out a little bit. We're getting a little bit of a seam here. And maybe smooth this part out a little bit more too. If you want to, you can. If you're not getting the results you want, you can always grab those and kind of separate them a little bit. Okay. Just maybe separate those and pull them apart to help things along, and then we can go back into our smooth tool, our sculpt tool, and smooth that out a little bit more. Just touch that right along there. And you can scale your brush down and get right in there a little bit better. Okay, you can notice we're getting a little bit of a dent here, which is not really what you want. That's why you need to be careful. Let's make sure we smooth this part out. And we can go up here and smooth this out a little bit. Alright, let's take a look at that and see if that looks any better. Alright, so that looks pretty good. You can go ahead now if you want to and just mirror that back to the other side now that we've got the detail in that we want. Make sure all of our points are merged together. Alright, so we've got a spoiler on our car now. So in the next lesson, we're actually going to come in and work on our taillights that go right in here, and some detail that goes right in this gap right along here. Do a little more work on our back end here.